Welcome back to the Awakening Money video series. So in the previous video, we learned about the core principle that money actually follows joy. As you embrace your joy, as you embrace your passion, money seems to follow you. And there's a whole transmutative process that comes into that the more you actually reach out and choose beyond your conclusions, beyond what you think is possible for you. Energies will appear in your body, fear, conclusions, limiting beliefs that tell you that that is not possible. Changing your money beliefs and actually reaching beyond your conclusions brings them up to be transmuted in your body. And as you breathe into them and continue to move into your passion and your joy, it seems that money itself begins to respond to that and it begins to support you in the process. In this video, we're going to explore some of the other dynamics of this. What's at play with money actually following your joy? And if money follows joy, then how come people who clearly aren't following their joy can still accumulate vast amounts of money and use it for not so good purposes? We're going to look at that in this video. In this video series, we're exploring the hidden metaphysics of money. The first thing to really understand about money that really changed my viewpoint is that money is actually a living entity. If you read through the book Transurfing Reality by Vadim Zeland, he paints a picture of reality that is vastly different than what most of us are used to. Vadim drops a bombshell. When I read this book, it changed my life. What he states is that anything that you put your conscious attention on with your consciousness becomes a living being by the extension of your own consciousness. First of all, consciousness is all that is, ever was, and ever will be. What is shining through my eyes right now and through your eyes and from your heart, that field that is being emitted, that's all there is. There's nothing outside of that. So anything that comes through you is an extension of your consciousness. And anything that you pay your attention on for a consecutive, consistent amount of time begins to be imbued by the life that you radiate. And you can observe this everywhere in life. Whether you're involved in a relationship, a political party, a conversation, an ideology, a religion, all these things are ideas, but as we feed them our energy, they become living beings of their own with their own agenda that exists in a dimension that we could call maybe the fourth dimension, in a dimension of thinking, in the dimension of emotions. And to give you an example of this, imagine that you have a political party. And this political party has adherents to it. It has people who pay attention to it, are involved in it. And then more and more people come into this political party. And before you know it, what started as an idea actually becomes an entity of its own. It has its own agenda. The political party wants to live. It wants to keep going. It wants more people to join it. And it has the same agenda that any other living being on the planet has. Number one prerogative of anything that's alive is it wants to survive. It wants to keep going. The same thing goes for a conversation. And this is the most basic example of this. If you have two people having a conversation, putting their conscious attention on something, even though it came out of nowhere, the conversation is a living being. It wants to keep going. But the moment you withdraw your attention from it, the conversation collapses. And the more people are involved in a conversation, the harder it is for that conversation to stop. It will just keep going and going and going. And you can see this in the realm of social media. Whenever there's a trend that comes up, even though the trend came out of our own consciousness, it just keeps going of its own accord until it eventually matches its end or fizzles out, or maybe never even does. You can see this right now in our society with some of the most prevalent topics happening right now that we're talking about. It always follows this pattern. Everything that we put our attention on becomes a living being. It wants to survive, and it wants to do anything it can to have more people paying attention to it, and it will do anything it can to keep your attention in it. What happens when you meet someone and you're in just pure neutrality? You're like, you know what? Stay if you can, leave if you must. But I really love your company and it's so great to have you here. Obviously, we're naturally attracted to people like that, to relationships like this, but we're just welcome. But we're just welcomed in neutrality and we're loved and appreciated for who we are. And the greatest obstacle to receiving money in life is actually meeting it in this neutrality. And this will be your core practice if you actually want to attract more money, welcome more money into your life, is to witness where in your life you're actually not in neutrality with money. I know for myself, one of the hardest things for me used to be to even just look at how much money I had in my bank account. It would bring up so much feelings and emotions of tightness and restriction that I would avoid my bank account only until the point where I had to pay the bills. And then it was just this constant fear, contracted kind of thing. Even when I had and have a lot of money, it would just constantly create this thing and I would avoid it. And because I would avoid it, money started avoiding me. Same thing can happen when you feel lack or scarcity or even excited about having a lot of money. When you get overexcited, it's also not meeting it in neutrality. So when we meet money in neutrality, it tends to appear more in our lives. So what keeps people from actually interacting with neutrality around money is all the judgments that we carry around it, all the beliefs that we have about it, but more importantly, the energies that we store in our bodies around it. And possibly one of the hardest things to break out of around money is a cycle of scarcity, is a cycle of lack. When we feel there's not enough money and we want to create more. And what I'm about to share with you is the secret to actually breaking out of that. And that is thanking money for the scarcity and for the lack, and actually meeting the fields of lack and scarcity in your body as that appears in your life. Just think about it this way. The natural thing when we experience lack or scarcity around money is to go, okay, well, there's not enough money, so there should be more. So I'm going to go make more. But what you're actually doing in that energy is you're responding from fear, you're responding from shame, and you're looking at the money in your bank account and you're saying, this is not enough. I want more. And what does the friend of money hear? If money was a living being, and it is in that situation, it only hears, I'm not enough for you. I need to be more. Would you, as a living being, want to be involved in that relationship? Probably not. It would be very uncomfortable. You never really want to be around somebody that you feel you're not enough for and you got to improve to be around. So you avoid that person. You just, you give them your presence a little bit, but you don't really engage in that relationship unless you have in-laws that you absolutely have to see or certain parents that you have to be around sometimes, at least one of the year. But you know what I'm talking about, right? So the key, and this is so counterintuitive in this situation as I've learned, is to enter the gratitude for the lack, for the pain, for the darkness, for the scarcity, and actually feel it in your body. Take a deep breath in. Notice where it's in your body. And that alone begins to create and propel you into the transmutative process around, or the alchemical process around becoming into a better relationship around money. It is completely counterintuitive. So the way this looks like is when you get a bill and you have contraction, you go, oh, there's not enough money. Receive that contraction. Actually welcome those energies. Wow, I'm so grateful, money, for bringing this experience to me so that I could give it the love it requires. And actually enter neutrality with it. Something else might come up where you feel scarce, or you look at your bank account and you feel scarce, or the thought comes up, wow, I'm so scarce, I should go out there and do something. No, instead, just take a pause, even just 5 seconds, breathe that energy in and say thank you. But this experience will bring you into that reality, and money will begin to reflect that energy back to you of like, wow, this person actually wants to play. They're grateful for everything I'm bringing to them. So I'll come around and stick around you. No matter what experience money brings you or has brought into your life, begin the practice of thanking it every single day. And more so, and most importantly, every single time you use money, thank it. When you go out and pay something and you experience lack or excitement or neutrality, just thank the money for this experience. You go out to buy groceries. Wow, thank you, money. Here's a $60 bill at Whole Foods for these groceries. Wow, I get to eat. I get to experience these oranges or this meal, this yogurt, whatever it might be. Just thank the money. And when you're thanking it, it feels thanked. It feels welcomed. And what you're creating through the laws of transurfing reality, you're creating this living vortex of gratitude around the money, and it begins to assist you in that gratitude, in that joy, in whatever it is that you're co-creating with it. When you use your debit card to pay for something and you putting in your PIN the debit card, just, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, beep, 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 beep. Get in the habit of thanking money every day for every little thing, every little transaction, and you see how quickly how you feel around money changes. You'll get to the point where you look at your balance in your bank account and you can actually feel playful. With no matter how much money you have in there, you'll feel playful. You'll feel relaxed. You'll feel joyful. Money is not the cause of the scarcity or the lack in your body. The lack and scarcity is what's at play. It's what you've inherited from your grandfathers or from their ancestors. We're here to transmute that. Money is just reflecting that back to you. To the degree that you've transmuted it, you've been able to be present with it, grateful, and heal those wounds in your body, is to the degree that it will actually bring those up, or the opposite, bring up more abundance and joy and playfulness. So this all sounds very nice, but if this was true, how is it that money can actually be used for evil, or people who are perhaps not on that frequency can still attract vast amounts of money? Well, to understand this, we have to come back to the concept of neutrality. It's that money is actually completely neutral. It's a neutral living being, an extension of our consciousness. It doesn't care whether you're involved in charity or doing something super amazing or mass murder of millions of people. It's completely neutral about it. What it actually cares about the most is, am I welcome in this space of your consciousness? Am I welcome here? Are you my friend, or are you going to ignore me? And if you look at the people who operate in maybe questionable ways in the world, but have vast amounts of money and access to it, the one thing that you'll notice is that they're completely neutral about the money. They're not actually obsessive about it. They're not worshiping it, but they're in a place of neutrality with it. And this is the number one thing to understand if you want to master money consciously, is that you have to be in a place where you can just meet money in a neutral way, whatever it brings. Even the greatest calamity in your life, if you can be grateful for it, magic will happen. And this is what author, what's her name? And this is what the author, whose name I currently have forgotten, in the book, The Art of Money, writes about, is that until you can get to a place where you can just shake money's hand and be like, hey, money, I'm here. Great. What do you have for me? And be okay with everything that it brings into your body, you've got money issues to deal with. And so money isn't evil. It's not the source of evil. It's not the source of everything bad in the world. It's simply an extension of your consciousness. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you're having a lot of fun and enjoying this material. And if you'd like to take this journey further, and you know that right now there's something blocking you around money from deep within, and you're ready to finally release that and to enter true wealth and true prosperity, to live the kind of life where you're doing what you love and money comes to you as a result of that, then I'd love to invite you into a free course that I've created called Opening to Wealth. And you can find the link right below here in the description. What this course will assist you in is actually dissolving your financial blocks, crystallized beliefs around money, everything that's blocking you around money right now. It's a way through this mess, through really understanding what's at play there and how wealth is actually created in the body. So if you'd like to accelerate that process for yourself, the link is down below. To get access to it, simply join the Star Tribe, which is our free online community, and then go into the classroom section and the course is right there. It's a phenomenal journey. It's a ton of fun and it's going to change your life. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.